Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we exploring today?
Well, today we're going beyond just pretty pictures,
Oh,
Yeah, we're diving into Islamic art, really trying to get to the deeper meanings behind it all.
okay, I like it.
We've got a fascinating presentation as our main source titled Islamic Art, a Rich Tapestry.
Sounds promising.
It really does, and it
Yeah.
seems like it'll take us from those basic patterns and designs to the core principles, the ideas that make this art form so unique.
Hmm. Unique in what way? What makes you say that?
Well, I'm curious, when you think about Islamic art, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
It's funny you say just pretty pictures because that's, well, I think a lot of people might initially think of that, right? But one of the things that really sets Islamic art apart is this deep connection to faith and spirituality.
You mean it's not just about aesthetics?
Exactly. Every element, like even from the grand arches of a mosque to the tiniest swirl of a calligraphic stroke, it's all, well, it's imbued with symbolic meaning.
Oh, wow. So it's like a secret language
In a way, yes.
where the art itself is actually telling a story.
Exactly. You know, those intricate patterns you often see, those arabesques,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
they're not just decoration. They often feature these repeating geometric shapes or these stylized floral motifs, and they actually represent a key Islamic concept,
Which is
tawhid.
Tawhid.
It's the oneness of God.
Oh, okay.
The idea is that the infinite repetition of these patterns, kind of reflects that infinite nature of the divine.
Wow. I never realized there was such a deep philosophical concept behind something as uh, seemingly simple as a pattern.
Right. It's a whole different way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like seeing the world through a whole new lens.
That's the beauty of Islamic art. It invites you to really contemplate, to look beyond just the surface and kind of delve into those layers of meaning.
And you mentioned mosques earlier.
Oh, right.
Architecture seems like, well, a perfect example of how these principles actually come to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think about those soaring domes, the intricate mosaics, that interplay of light and shadow. It's all carefully designed to evoke a certain feeling, right?
It is a sense of awe, a connection to the divine.
This presentation really emphasizes how Islamic art, even though it includes such a wide range of styles and expressions, it's unified by this underlying connection to faith.
Exactly. It's like this common thread running through centuries across vast geographical regions.
Mm. Common thread. I like that.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of Islamic art, aniconism.
Danicanism.
It's well, you might have noticed that you rarely see depictions of human figures in Islamic art.
Yeah, especially in religious contexts.
Right. And this isn't just a stylistic choice, it's a reflection of a specific belief, the belief that only God can create life.
So you're saying the absence of something can actually be just as meaningful as its presence.
Precisely. By avoiding depictions of the human form, Islamic art actually directs the focus towards something else. The abstract, the spiritual, the divine.
It's encouraging a different way of seeing the world, then.
Yes. One that emphasizes contemplation, reflection.
Makes sense. Okay, so if figurative art is largely absent, what takes center stage in Islamic art?
That would be calligraphy, the art of beautiful writing.
Calligraphy.
Yes, but in Islamic art, it's not just about legibility. It's about, well, imbuing the written word with spiritual significance.
I see. And of course, the most important text in this context is.
The Quran.
So calligraphy here is almost like a sacred art form, then, a way of visually representing the Word of God.
Exactly. Think about it. The Quran, revealed in Arabic, is considered to be the literal word of God, right?
Right.
So the act of transcribing it, it becomes an act of devotion.
Mm.
And the calligrapher, well, they take on a role that goes far beyond a simple scribe.
This presentation actually quotes a famous calligrapher, Ibn Mukhla. He said, "Calligraphy is a spiritual geometry carried out by the hand."
Wow,
It really highlights how writing in this context becomes this bridge between, the material and the spiritual.
it really does.
Yeah.
And it speaks to that deeper meaning, embedded in every stroke, the precision, the rhythm, the fluidity of the lines. It's all meant to evoke this sense of beauty and wonder, drawing the viewer closer to the divine message.
So you've got these intricate patterns reflecting divine unity, the avoidance of figures shifting focus to the spiritual, and calligraphy that elevates the written word to an art form. It feels like every single element in Islamic art is carefully chosen to convey a deeper meaning.
You're getting it. But remember, while these core principles are consistent across Islamic art, their expression can vary. Tremendously, actually.
Oh, so like a common language spoken in a multitude of dialects.
Exactly. Each region, influenced by its own history, culture, even artistic traditions, adds its own flavor to this rich tapestry.
Now, I'm really curious to see how these universal principles actually manifest in different forms and styles across different cultures.
Well, then buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey. We're going to explore these diverse expressions of Islamic art, from the majestic mosques of North Africa to those delicate miniature paintings of Persia.
Sounds amazing. Lead the way.
So are you ready to actually see how these principles play out, in the real world?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like we've got this big picture of Islamic art, and now we're going to zoom in, see the individual threads of the tapestry.
Exactly. So where should we start?
Well,
What about a region that, well, I think a lot of people immediately associate with Islamic art?
okay, yeah.
The Middle East.
The Middle East, of course.
Specifically, I think the mosques in this region, they really showcase how architecture can be this powerful expression of faith.
Okay.
Like take the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem.
Oh, yeah, with that incredible golden dome.
Exactly. Built in the 7th century, one of the oldest examples of Islamic architecture, really.
Right.
And its shape, those intricate mosaics, the calligraphy, it all comes together to create a space that's, well, it's just breathtaking, but also deeply symbolic.
Yeah. I've always been fascinated by it, just seeing pictures.
Oh, it's even more stunning in person.
Yeah.
But anyway, this presentation actually points out that the octagon, that shape,
Mm-hmm.
it's a recurring motif in Islamic architecture.
Oh, is there a specific meaning behind that?
There is. It's often seen as a transitional shape. You've got the square representing the earthly realm, right?
Okay.
And then you've got the circle representing the heavens.
Oh, I see. So the octagon is
A bridge between the two,
upset.
connecting the earthly and the divine.
Wow, that's fascinating. So the very shape of the building is imbued with meaning.
Exactly. To like
It-
the architecture itself is telling a story.
It is, yeah.
Speaking of stories, let's hawk over to another region where Islamic art really thrived,
Okay, where to?
the Iberian Peninsula,
Oh, interesting.
specifically during the Moorish rule in Spain.
Right.
Ever heard of the Alhambra?
The Alhambra, of course. That amazing palace in Granada.
Yes, with those incredibly intricate decorations.
It's a perfect example, right, of how different cultural influences could blend together within Islamic art.
It is. You see those traditional Islamic design elements, the calligraphy, the geometric patterns, but also those influences from the local Spanish culture.
This presentation calls it a fusion of art and faith.
A fusion. I like that.
And they even mention that the gardens were designed to reflect paradise, as described in the Quran.
Oh, that's right, they were.
It's not just a palace,
Yeah.
it's like a whole worldview.
Exactly, where beauty, spirituality, intellectual pursuits, they were all intertwined.
I can only imagine what it must have been like to actually be there.
Oh, it's truly magical. The way light filters through those courtyards, how it reflects off the water features, is also so carefully considered.
To create that sense of tranquility and contemplation.
Exactly.
It's one thing to see pictures of these places, but hearing you describe them, the thought behind every element, it's different. Makes it feel so much more real.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, our journey through the Islamic world isn't over yet.
Okay, where to next?
Let's head east
East.
to Persia.
Persia.
It had such a vibrant, unique artistic tradition.
Oh yeah, like those gorgeous carpets.
Oh, yes. Persian carpets are famous worldwide. But for now, let's focus on something else Persia really excelled at. Miniature painting.
Miniature painting.
Yeah, these incredibly detailed illustrations, often depicting scenes from, well, it could be literature, history, even daily life, all painted on a tiny scale.
I think I've seen those in museums.
Yeah.
Yeah, the level of detail is just incredible.
Oh, it is. It required so much skill, so much patience. The painters used these fine brushes made from a single hair, can you imagine?
Wow.
And these mineral pigments to create these vibrant, intricate works of art. And it wasn't just about technique.
No.
They had to be masters of composition, storytelling, symbolism.
So each painting, even though it's so small, it's like a window into a whole world.
You got it. Like, think about the Shahnameh.
The Shahnameh.
It's this famous Persian epic poem, the Book of Kings.
Oh, right. Okay.
Many scenes from that epic have been, well, they've been immortalized in miniature paintings, bringing the stories to life with those vivid images and symbolic details.
It's like these paintings are the visual counterpart to the written word then.
Exactly. And it really speaks to how interconnected all these different art forms were within Islamic culture. Whether you're talking about the grandeur of a mosque, the intricate patterns of a carpet, or the delicate details of one of these miniature paintings, it all contributes to this rich tapestry of visual expression.
Wow. We've only looked at 3 regions, and I'm already blown away by, well, just the sheer diversity of Islamic art.
Oh, and there's so much more to see.
I can only imagine.
From the vibrant ceramics of Ottoman Turkey to the intricate wood carvings of West Africa, the possibilities are, well, they're endless. And we haven't even touched on calligraphy in depth yet.
That's right. We talked about it a bit earlier, but well, now I'm really eager to dive in and explore its specific style, see how it evolved across these different regions.
Sounds like the perfect place to continue our journey then. Because calligraphy, well, it really is the heart and soul of Islamic art. And exploring its nuances will give us, I think, a much deeper appreciation for the beauty, the spirituality it embodies.
Okay, so we've explored mosques, we've talked about patterns, we even took a look at those amazing Persian miniatures,
We
right?
did. It's been quite a journey.
It really has, but now it's time for calligraphy, I think. We keep coming back to it like it's this key element in Islamic art that we can't ignore.
It really is. And it's, well, its story isn't just about pretty writing. It's about the way different styles have evolved, the reverence for the written word, and how each culture has, like, added its own unique touch to this art form.
The presentation actually highlights how calligraphy, it's not static.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's changed over time, like a living language almost.
Exactly. Think of the earliest forms. They were all about clarity, readability.
Yeah, makes sense.
It was essential for, well, for transmitting the Quran accurately. But as the art developed, different scripts emerged, each with its own, well, almost its own personality, you could say.
So what are some of these different calligraphy styles? How did they come about?
Well, one of the earliest and most influential is Kufic.
Goofy.
Yeah, originated in Iraq.
Okay.
And it's known for, like, those angular geometric forms,
Hmm.
often used in architectural inscriptions, even on coins.
Oh, I see.
Imagine those bold, striking letters on the wall of a mosque, almost like a visual echo of those geometric patterns we talked about before.
It's amazing to think that, well, something as, I guess, functional as writing could evolve into such a powerful visual art form.
And the evolution didn't stop there. As Islamic civilization spread, new scripts emerged, reflecting different, well, aesthetic preferences, cultural influences.
So, like, different regions had their own style.
Yeah. In Persia, for example, this more flowing cursive style became popular. Nusk.
Nusk. Okay. So Kufic is all about those bold lines, geometric shapes, and Nusk is.
Elegance, fluidity, graceful curves, delicate flourishes.
Oh, nice.
It was often used for copying manuscripts, creating these beautiful works of art.
Is that the style you see in those illuminated Quran manuscripts?
Often, yeah, those really exquisite ones.
This presentation, it mentions how calligraphy, it wasn't just a skill.
No.
It was a respected profession, like a really big deal in Islamic society.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah, considering how important the written word is, especially the Quran.
Exactly. Calligraphers were, well, they were highly esteemed individuals, often held prominent positions in court, in society. Their work wasn't just, pretty. It was a spiritual practice, a way of honoring the divine word.
Wow. Like weaving spirituality into each stroke of the pen. Makes me think of that quote again. Spiritual geometry carried out by the hand.
Right. Powerful imagery. And,
Yeah.
and speaking of powerful imagery, we shouldn't forget that calligraphy wasn't just used in, in religious texts.
Oh, right. Like on those beautiful ceramic plates.
Exactly. Or textiles woven with verses from the Quran. Calligraphy, it transcended that purely textual function.
It became part of like the visual language of Islamic art.
Precisely.
It's like this thread that connects all these different forms, reminding us of how central the written word is in Islamic culture.
I like that, a thread. It really ties it all together. And it reminds us that Islamic art isn't just, a bunch of beautiful objects. It reflects this rich, multifaceted culture that values, well, beauty, spirituality, intellectual pursuits, all of it.
Wow, this deep dive it's been eye-opening. We went from those, basic descriptions to uncovering deeper meanings, exploring historical context, and even those cultural nuances. It's a lot to take in.
And remember, this is really just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, to discover in this vast and fascinating world.
You know what strikes me the most is how how intentional everything in Islamic art seems to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about aesthetics, you know? It's about conveying deeper truths, encouraging people to think, to contemplate, even reminding us about how interconnected everything really is.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground
We
today.
have.
What a journey. Thank you so much for, well, for being such a fantastic guide through all of this. It's definitely made me want to keep exploring, to learn more.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Sparking that curiosity, inspiring people to dig deeper.
To all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive. We'll see you next time.